Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're getting to working on the car today, at least the Mustang, you know what I mean, in terms of addressing the main issue that I had from last time, which is, well, two things. One is the suspension, which we'll get to that later, but the other thing was the differential opening up, like on transfers and stuff like that. So to deal with that, I am replacing all of the clutch discs in the differential. So this is the kit from Ford Performance. So it's basically an OE replacement. So yeah, I'm hoping it just gets the job done. I don't imagine it's going to be anything crazy, but with how worn the ones I have in right now are, it's hopefully going to fix the issue that I'm having. So yeah, I guess I'll walk through what I have or what the kit comes with. So you've got the actual discs that have like the friction plates, on them. And then you have the discs in between that are of course like splined into like the shaft that's in the diff. And then these guys right here are like shims. They're spacers so that you can get like the correct like play and stuff in there. But yeah, you got 3 for either side in terms of friction plates, 4 of the other discs, and then 3 spacers for either side. And then we got a nice paper gasket to replace that, and 2 quarts of this Valvoline full synthetic 75W140. I like this because it has like this end on it and it's in a soft bag, so it's really easy to just kind of get up in there and be able to use this to directly put the fluid into the diff. So I really like this, and it already has the friction modifier already in it, which is nice, so I don't have to worry about like mixing it wrong and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the car on jack stands now and get to work. Alrighty, car is up in the air. So the next thing I'm gonna do is remove the differential cover. But just so you guys know, any of you guys that are doing a differential service at home, the very first thing you want to do before taking off the diff cover and letting the oil out is check the fill hole. Because if you can't remove the like screw that's in there for the fill hole, you won't be able to put new oil in once you're done. So just first thing, make sure you can take that out, and then go ahead and move forward with removing the cover. But word to the wise. Okay, so we've got the cover off, the oil drained. Now our next step is going to be removing this bolt right here. It's an 8mm. We're going to remove this so that we can take this pin out. So yeah, just so you know, make sure you put the car in first gear, because if not, once you try to put torque on that, it's just going to spin the differential. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So I just got this bolt out, and just wanted to let you guys know. So this bolt right here, the carrier bolt, it has that like yellow stuff on it. That's a thread locker, and you need that because if this backs out at any point and that pin comes out, your whole diff falls apart inside of the casing. So that's nobody good. So anytime you want to use like service the diff or like remove this bolt, you want to at least replace the thread locker. But it's good practice to just replace the bolt with, and that has new thread locker as well, which the kit I bought comes with a new one. So yeah, just one thing to remember. Okay, so you just want to reach back here, push the pin out with your hand or with your finger, and then pull it out the rest of the way. Ta-da! Okay, so tiny oopsie on my part. I was just watching Chris Fix's video on like how to do this, and I just realized that he takes off the wheels and the brake calipers so that he can be able to like shift the axles outwards a little bit to be able to remove the inside of the diff. So luckily I haven't gone too far to where I can't, take off the wheels. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Alrighty, got the wheels off on both sides as well as the calipers off on the driver's side. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the calipers off on the passenger side, and then we'll get back underneath and get back into the diff. So I forgot to record it, but I took out the C-clips already and slid out the axles a little bit so that I have access to be able to take out the spring right there in the center of the diff. So I'm gonna go ahead and use like a piece of wood and a hammer to like knock it out. Okay, the spring is out and the spider gears are out as well. So now I should be able to just pull this whole like assembly out. Let me see. Oh wait, I remember that. This side needs to come out first. Well, let me just do this off camera. Hey guys, so it's a little bit later in the day. I forgot to record a couple of things just because I was kind of just had a good workflow going. But I got the spider gears back in. What else? I got everything lined up, and then I went to put the spring in, and the spring just will not go in. You're supposed to expect a bit of resistance, and I'm clamping it down and then putting a pair of pliers that like clamp it down and keep it compressed, but it's just not enough, and I'm hammering it in, or at least trying to, which you're supposed to do, but it just looks like I would have to hammer it way too hard to get it to go in there, in the sense of like I don't want to damage the spider gears. So as of right now, I'm gonna leave it alone, and maybe try to talk to some friends between now and like tomorrow, do some research and see if there are any alternatives or little tricks or tips to putting that spring in that I could use. So yeah, I'm gonna call it quits for right now, but we'll be back hopefully tomorrow. Okay, hand transition. All right guys, it's the next day. I'm back in the garage, just got off work. So I left the spring in the clamp the whole night. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out of there and try and put it in the diff, see if it makes a difference. Okay, it's taken me about an hour to do it, but the spring is in. I tried putting in the pin or like big bolt that goes through the whole carrier, and it didn't want to go in, so I'm gonna leave it alone for now. Just take the victory while I can. And my friends invited me to go hang out for a little bit, so I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll get back to working on the car a little bit later. Okay, so a couple of days have passed since that last clip you saw. Let me catch you guys up to speed. So I was able to get the spring in, but once I did, I tried to put the like main pin that goes through the whole diff in, and it wouldn't fit. It's off by like 2 or 3 millimeters. Enough that like it felt fine when I used my finger, but then when I try to use the pin, it doesn't work. So basically my only option is to take the spring back out and realign it, make sure the pin goes through, and then try putting the spring back in. So I've been avoiding it because I really didn't want to backpedal to do it again, but I'm pretty sure that's my only option, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. Okay guys, success finally. I've got the spring in there, and I did confirm before taking this clip that the pin does indeed go through. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the C-clips on the axles and install the pin for the final time, and then we'll be able to close up the diff and put some fluid in it. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, I've got the spring in, I've got the C-clips in, and I went ahead and put that main pin in. You can see that one in the center. And now I'm about to put in that bolt that goes right through it. Now, if you guys remember earlier, I mentioned this is going to be the one that you need to replace. I mean, you don't need to, but it's preferable. So you can see this kit came with a brand new one with some new thread locker. So yeah, and there's a torque spec that you're supposed to put this in, but I'm just gonna send it. All right, and with that pin installed, we can go ahead and come back out here and grab our new gasket. And I'm going to teach you guys a little trick for getting the gasket on without pinching it. Okay, so basically the trick is you go ahead and lay down your gasket where it's going to go, and you can see that this lines up because of this little spot right here. So once you know we've got it set up right, and we figure out which one is going to be our top hole, we go ahead and grab, hold on, it's kind of hard to do this with one hand. You grab your top bolt, put it, oh my god, put it through the gasket, and then you just put in this first bolt along with the gasket and the cover, and just kind of get it lined up, and I'll show you right now what that looks like. Okay, so basically get your first top bolt and lined up in here with the gasket, Don't worry about it being perfectly lined up just yet. There's a reason we're doing this. So, you get this top one in, just a little bit, just enough to hold it in place. And then, oh, I guess not. We'll get this top one in just a little bit. And then we'll just line up one that's kind of like across. That perfectly lined up. And then by the time you get to this third one, this thing is perfectly aligned, it's flat, it's not pinched, you shouldn't have anything to worry about, and you can go ahead and start installing the rest of the bolts. Now, once you start doing final torque, make sure you do it in a star pattern so that, you know, it kind of evenly distributes torque, because even then, even though you won't pinch it, you could have like a raised area because of uneven pressure, and then, you know, that'll allow for a leak, so you don't want that. Okay, and with our cover installed, we can go ahead and use a 3/8 drive extension to go ahead and take off our fill plug and get some of this Valvoline gear oil in there. Okay guys, that's about it. I mean, the oil is topped off, drain plug is back in. Other than putting the brakes back on and the wheels, this job is done. The only reason I don't want to put the brakes and wheels back on is because I've got something else that I'm about to put on the car that requires me to take off the brakes and rotors anyways, so I'm just gonna leave it like this so that I can go ahead and move on to the next job. But you guys will have to wait for that one. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. I appreciate every single one of you that is just following along, has any sort of curiosity into what I'm doing over here. So thank you very much, and look forward to the next video. Big things coming. Thanks again, guys. Bye.